phone.
Okay,
I still
ready.
see it.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yepper.
Okay, System Vaughn, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Looks like we had no correspondence for that first time. Statement up for the next meeting. We had the minutes of our meeting that was held July 14th. Are there any additions, corrections for the minutes?
I didn't see anything.
I saw one.
Gosh, I missed one. Dang it.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
First page, first paragraph, third line. I need a reminder,
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
reminded.
Reminded,
That's the only thing I saw.
yeah, I didn't find any, so. Real quick,
Yes, I am.
I'll make a motion that we approve the commissioner minutes from July 14th, 2025 with one correction.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. And we have a claim sent to us today.
I just have one question, page 4. I've seen this before, this seems a little more. Popper attorney, $16,000, I've not seen it that high.
You know, I don't really know if that's, those are our attorneys when they don't have a
Either there's a conflict and they can't
Well, I know, but I
give it to
mean,
anybody, or lots of times they're appeals.
okay, I mean, it's 16, that just seems higher than
I
what
don't
see.
know, the only thing I'm wondering is if they just didn't turn it in, they turned it in altogether and
Yeah, my
sent it
guess is
for-
they waited till they were done
Yeah,
with the case,
yeah.
whatever it was.
All right, if you're good with it,
But I hadn't seen Likes' office before.
I haven't either, so.
other than that,
I had a question.
that's it.
Okay. Mine is on page 1, under the garage, Bonar Holdings, $6,325. Is that the work that you did on?
That, I think,
He's
Mr.
been all the
Bowden.
new vehicles that the sheriff's department did send, because he did that when he worked for the highway department. The sheriff has hired back as a contract to do those vehicles, and all the new ones we've done now.
Okay,
Somebody was talking that the other day, and said that they've got them done, so.
I wondered on page 7, maybe we don't know the answer to this, where Angie Kidd, Brandon Cordes, and Jennifer Duncan, 200, 100, 100, that for a meeting.
Who?
On page 7 at the bottom, Angie Kidd, Brandon Cordes, Jennifer Duncan.
I think there must be on that committee and it
They're on that-
says per
On that committee,
diem,
but
yes.
she's
Isn't that the one you're on,
200
but you wouldn't
versus-
take the 100?
Yeah, that's correct. That's great.
So, anyway, she must be the chairman for the 200, I take it.
That I don't know.
I don't know
Okay,
about
Yeah,
that.
they offered
I
you,
think
they offered
set
you
it up for
$100 if you showed up.
100 a meeting, but
And yeah,
maybe she didn't submit a claim
I declined that.
for the first one.
page 11, under professional services, midpoint. I don't remember ever hearing of Eptura Incorporated.
Was it 11? No.
Professional services, Eptura.
I have to ask me or Zach on that.
Who that was. And those are my questions.
Zach would maybe know that one, that's under highway, so
Yeah.
maybe we can ask Zach when
Okay.
he comes in.
Okay,
On the one below that, rainy day, widening, are they done, do you know, or is there stuff,
I
a
think
little bit of
there's-
stuff
yeah,
floating in?
Yeah, there really is, and I don't know if they fully paid their retention or their, they did a 10% something, so I don't know if that's been, it's gotta be getting close, cause I'm on money.
Yeah, because Zach sent something that was showing the bottom line, there was a credit of 9,000 and made the total 11,250,000 but I didn't know if everything was,
Yeah, it's got that one, kinda. I think those were, if I remember right, I think those were from some change orders, I believe.
Okay. The only one I had was on page 7, automated logic contracting. You have a contract for them?
That is on your agenda for today.
It's the same amount.
Yes,
I assume that's what it's for.
yeah, Shelley came
Alarm,
back,
alarm, alarm.
Shelley came back and said they were gonna go ahead and pay it, cause it was, because that contract is dated like in April or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it got missed, what happened there. Yeah, March 26th is where that was presented. So, and I do remember Glenn saying he didn't know, maybe
I mean,
it
I didn't
went
have any
to,
problems with the,
maybe it
legal
went to
part,
Tim,
whether it's
not, but
what
I
they're
noticed
supposed to
it.
do.
Yeah, so she went ahead and paid it.
okay,
So that's, it is paid, that's what she had told me, that she was gonna go ahead and pay that, so.
I just wanted them to know that
Right.
they approve claims, it's already paid before they approve the contract.
I noticed that too, that's on our-
Okay.
Are you good, sir?
Yep, good.
I'll make a motion that we approve the claims for July 28th in the amount of $1,072,393.64.
Second,
Got a motion second on claims, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Next we have payroll, check date 7/24. Questions, I didn't.
I don't have any questions, I'll make a motion that we approve payroll with the docket date of 7/24/25 in the amount of $518,961.23.
Second,
We have a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Under old business, we have the tax sales support services agenda.
This was at the back of the contract we had last time. I missed it. I should have put my tabs on there and but I didn't. So
Did their
Steph brought it
motion-
back.
Did their motion incorporate it last time?
I mean, they approved it, it was all together last time, so.
Cause I thought this was already done.
Right, so it just needs signatures, is really all, and I've got the original.
Cause that's what we talked about, it was $125.
Right, exactly, so there's the original, if you wanna go ahead and.
It doesn't matter that it says the 14th here and the 8th over here. I don't know, I just. 14th, mine's at 14th. I crossed it out, it said the 14th. It says effective July 8th.
Well, you got another date?
First page, 14. The 8th, I don't know, just. Well, maybe this is,
This, they already approved that, this
Okay.
is the addendum to that.
oh, okay,
That was attached to it last time, which I
okay.
thought your motion
Yeah,
covered
I
it
thought
too, but you didn't sign it, so
Didn't sign it.
you need to sign
Groovy, let's sign it, man.
We did not need a motion for this.
it. No, cause I think we covered it last time.
We did last, I remember this, yeah.
That's why it's old business.
Old business.
Old.
business, Jackie?
No.
All right, we'll go ahead and move down to new business. We have the warranty deed that Dennis had prepared.
The only question I had on that, is it a landlocked piece of property or no one would be interested in it?
No, it's not, it's adjacent to theirs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's adjacent to theirs, but landlocked, nobody else can get to it back.
That's what I mean, you didn't put,
Besides,
you
yeah,
didn't put,
except them,
that's what I mean, it's landlocked, only
yeah, it really
they,
doesn't have any value to them.
no one else would be interested to where you need to advertise it, and I mean, you're giving it to them for $1, just a
Well, it was
question.
also part of the agreement with them transferring property relative to Bridge One.
For Bridge 134, right on, okay.
Any other questions?
We make a motion?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the warranty deed, between Noble County, Board of Commissioners, and the Gorsuch's, Gorsuch, I was looking for their, like the actual,
It's Gorsuch Farm LLC.
oh, there it is, Gorsuch Farms LLC. That's my motion.
Second,
Good, motion second, all those in favor say aye.
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 It took me a hot minute to get there.
Next on new business is the Dilling Group, the annex service agreement.
And again, I guess my question would be, we've used these guys in the past, right?
They're the ones that did the installation here, and so
Okay.
this is just renewing that.
Okay, I mean, you wouldn't get a competing quote or anything, you're comfortable with all this?
I don't think we typically have in the past when they done
Okay.
the
Usually put it
installation.
in.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
just wanna
right,
make sure that,
exactly.
you know,
Because
you're
they're
comfortable.
familiar with the equipment.
With that being said, that we get the problems taken care of with each other.
I haven't talked to Glenn, since we had trouble with, air conditioning, what was that? Wednesday or Thursday. It was before it really got hot, because I know, but he said he'd had 2 issues, so they were supposed to come. I haven't heard of any other issues, so I'm assuming they came, but I have not talked to Glenn to see if they've made it here. So,
I know we've had problems in the past with the chiller, they've been pretty responsive when it gets
Yeah,
the
I
correct
think
parts
they-
in, so.
yeah.
Other questions, I'd entertain a motion on Bill.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the service agreement with Dilling Group to service all the HVAC components for the new annex building. And the amount would be, first year, $11,732, second year, $11,732, effective 10/1/2025.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion and second. Reference to service agreement, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have the automated logic service solutions contract.
These people I know we've had for quite some time with before, and after, so, we've had them in place for quite some time, I think.
And not just maintaining our software, primarily backing up our
I
data.
think they control, you know, a lot of the
Yeah.
computer software that controls all of this stuff.
Right,
you know.
and the backups as well, right? I mean,
So,
you know, against ransomware and all that good stuff. I see they maintain a copy offsite, which is good.
Yeah.
Of all the data. And it doesn't seem, it seems pretty reasonable, really. I mean, that's $5,237 seems pretty reasonable to maintain all that software and back up the data.
Yes, I,
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the service contract with Automated Logic Contract Services Incorporated. And the terms are from July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, for the amount of $5,237.
Second,
here we have motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can we sign this one here, Jen?
I don't have anything signed on this, so.
Okay.
No, that's Jansen.
I know.
Next is the contract with Peterson Consulting Services.
And this is for a capital,
That's
Assets.
capital asset reporting. I used them when I was auditor some time ago, and they've done a good job for us, keeps us compliant with it. So,
Yeah, twice.
entertain a motion to our contract review now.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve Peterson Consulting Services to prepare a list of assets for tax purposes for fiscal year 2025, and the amount of, and the fee would be $3,800.
I'll second.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the Perry Township interlocal agreement.
Dennis had prepared those, along with what the State Board of Accounts had recommended for those buggy plates. I sent,
Local.
yeah, I sent it out to Perry and Elkhart Township. I know Elkhart Township, had some questions. They're on your agenda for next week, or next time that you get together. I think she wants to increase her $8, is kind of the impression that I got, so, but Perry Township did return theirs, so this would just be, signing that, like I say, Dennis prepared this, so.
Now, these especially be with all townships or?
Anybody that's selling them,
Yeah, these are the only two at this point that are selling
This is
buggy
$100,
plates,
it's supposed to be $250 or no?
This is just for this year. I told him that I would send out another one, cause that's not in
Okay.
effect till January 1.
January 1.
Right, so
This is what it is currently.
Currently, all right,
I do have a note on my calendar to get a new one sent to them after
Okay.
that, or at the end of this year.
well, I just thought I saw that.
Right,
Yeah, we
exactly,
approved it.
exactly, so,
I think LaGrange, even with their increased cost, is only charging $6 for their processing fee. I don't know. But they're obviously doing a ton more volume, so that might have something to do with it.
Okay. Entertainment.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the $8 fee that goes to the Perry Township trustee when they issue plates for bodies.
I'll second.
So we have a motion second regarding the interlocal agreement, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
yeah, just got this one. That was Jason brought that come down and things.
There's those are all signed.
I think that's our manager plus. I think that's our software, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
For our shop,
Okay.
because I did see that come through. I'm not sure what the company name is,
Yeah, okay,
but
okay. That's very well.
that's spelled Ventura.
Yeah, APTURA.
If you wanna see if that's it. There's 16 acres currently out there, but we haven't sold or anything on the east side of landfill. That's just basically, it's not a license thing, it's that we've done with
Gotcha.
Jason Shea. He did that to watch the property, basically. Cause we had people out there hunting, we had deer stands on, we had other stuff going on.
Oh, and these are just the other
That's the
family
boys.
members,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha, okay.
You know, I still have it, I had a picture taken off of a trail cam on Timber Guide, 11:30 at night, not hunting clothes, with a rifle on. Now, that's about 900 feet behind my house, too.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what's going on out there, so whatever you do, we watch it for it.
I remember we talked about it before. My only question is like if they would change a vehicle, does it change the contract or we just have to let them know?
Luckily,
I sent that to him and he was, those are brand new, so,
Okay, thank you. I was just asking if they change a vehicle, does that change the contract, we'd have to adjust it.
yeah. That, because I did send him a new one, right, just in case there had been any from
Changes
last
from
year.
last year.
He did fill that out, so I assume that's the most current.
Current, okay, gotcha.
I just, that came in Friday and I sent it to him, it was in this morning's mail.
This is based on my.
yes,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
yeah. I just changed the dates on it, is all I did, and that's, okay.
So I've been using a draft prepared one, that was about 15 years ago. I use that.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the hunting lease agreement between Jason Chef and family members, dated 25th of July 2025 for the sum of $100 for the 16.5 acres located east of the landfill.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alright, well, we'll do it now. Just in time, no other new business. Zach?
Couple of small things here. First is a second driveway for Kelly Cameron up on Cameron Road. They're putting the barn up, just want a second drive to access that. That's good sight distance, drainage is fine. I don't have any issues with it other than it's a second drive on the same plat, so.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the driveway variance with permit number 074-25 for Kelly Cameron.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Permit for a closure on August 16th, street in Wolf Lake, they have a car and bike show there. We've done this for the past 6 or 7 years, I think it's for the Sons of the Legion, they do it as a fundraiser, they come get a couple of real close signs on Saturday there. Doesn't cause us any issues.
Where's this at again?
That's it.
Wolf Lake?
Yeah, that Methodist church, Methodist.
Just one day?
Yep.
August 16th?
Mhm.
Okay, make a motion, we approve the temporary land closure in Wolf Lake between Highway 33 and Main Street on August 16th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We're looking to initiate Shakopee Lake. We sent this out with the engineering agenda, but it's something Richard had been checking in on.
There's just at the northwest corner there, Shakopee Lake, that was deeded right away. I don't know all the technical jargon of it, but we've never maintained that. They're wanting to use that to access a parcel of property for their driveway. We do not maintain that. There's nothing established there as a lane, so I don't know if we need to dedicate right away, whatever you do.
I have a little history there.
Okay.
Okay, and I talked with, a neighbor over the weekend. So historically, when those homes were built and that house up on the top was owned by some people by the last name of Metz. And Larry Keck, who developed a fair amount of the homes out at Shakopee Lake, had said that that was gonna be a road and was gonna be an access.
And for a while, the Mets has used it and had gravel, but then over the years, they created their driveway and it just ended up growing over. And so no one has used it for years, but the neighbors out there all think that it's still there. So I don't know where that leads to access, but you know where he accesses now. He goes all the way around the lake, and it's probably a half mile from this property around Shakopee and up on 1,000 North is how they've gotten in all this time.
And we've run into similar issues where you
Yeah.
have development that's never fully done.
Right.
You accept the right of way, so it's platted as a public right of way, but it's never accepted in the highway system because it's never built to the standards.
Yeah.
And you're kind of stuck in this area where it's, you know, the impetus is back on the property owners, what do you want from us? Because if you want it to be a county maintained road, then you need to put the capital into getting it to a maintainable standard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the opposite direction is you can have ownership and control it, but we'll need to go through the vacation process. Regardless, you have two parcels back there that this, you know, the accessibility is a question.
Well, and then it would cut straight across what Adam and Brittany Sands use as their driveway access.
Exactly.
And they ended up doing that out of desperation because they couldn't, you know, when that log cabin was built, they just couldn't do it. And I was involved as a realtor when that was listed and sold to the Sands, and so at the time, I think they inquired about it, or we inquired about it, but it just didn't, you know, I'm not saying it didn't go anywhere for lack of action, but just, where do you go from here with it?
Well, and I think that's where we're at,
Yeah,
is we're just,
and that's steep,
yeah,
going on
we're
straight, goes straight up.
just looking for some direction because it sounds like they're wanting,
He would like to have access, so as you can say, so he doesn't have to drive, if they're gonna build a home or do something for
Yeah.
future development, it'd be a lot simpler
but
to.
that almost puts you into like some type of shared driveway agreement with the way it's
Easement
already
agreement,
set
right.
up. Unless we wanted to actually go in there and put in a gravel road or
Yeah.
and maintain it as such, or, you know, the opposite would be vacate it and they can figure it out on their own, some type of easement agreement or shared use agreement.
I'd almost feel like that's about what you'd have to do
I would
because
think that would be the cleanest.
the cleanest, and then, you know, because they're gonna have to work it out with Adam and Brittany because they put gravel there to try to get.
Yeah, then we would have to have some sort of
And
easement
Brittany's
agreement.
Well,
theirs, correct?
Correct, but they did it because they didn't have a choice, and it was, and they didn't do it, they improved on it, but it was done prior to that.
With that being said that way, what prevents this person back here? I wanna improve it to go back here,
I think they'd have to make an agreement between all of them.
okay?
If we, you know, if,
yeah, I mean, the problem is you're at an impasse where you have to do something. So if you're gonna vacate, there's a whole series of things you have to do there, which a lot of times people don't really wanna do.
right,
But if you wanna actually use it, if they can just get along locally, technically is public right of way. The only problem with that is, you know, if they do improvements there, you can't really keep anybody off of it because technically it is public right of way. So that's normally when
That's
they wanna,
they usually vacate it, just for that reason.
exactly, but there is cost in pretty much any of the options. But we can basically follow up with dialogue, Richard can let them know, hey, we prefer you guys figure out what solution works best for you, and then the county will get involved as needed.
And vacates it.
It would have to be a request, typically that comes from the landowner.
yeah, if
Okay.
anyone understands.
Or to initiate that.
I'm assuming a request to the commissioners to vacate that.
Which I can't blame them because the way they get back there now is just crazy. And in the winter time, that's extremely difficult. But they've been doing it for years. The parents were doing it for years. Now this is the son.
We'll follow up with them.
Another fun one while we're going through some correspondence. As you know, south of town here, State Road 9's been closed, local detours been utilizing our baseline is 100. So that's something, but we are getting some weird traffic patterns because of that. We had a truck driver attempt to go under the underpass there at 150, which is not ideal. So,
Is it marked, the height?
yeah, it's literally marked right next to it.
And then
I mean, it's marked up
At the intersection.
as well.
And at the intersection, it says no semis and has the height.
I mean, if you drive so usually you know how tall you are.
As you think.
You know,
I think he went with the theory of faster, we'll get through it.
Just floor
Skin the top, nobody will notice that I've skinned up the top of my semi.
Signs are in English, so.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, there's the damage to the bridge, which would be CSX's, there's also damage to the pavement. Richard chased down the police report, and he also got a quote for repairs, so we're just gonna process that to the insurance claim.
Who is the carrier? I'm just curious.
I'm not for
I'm
sure,
good.
I wouldn't, I know the record tore up the road just trying to get him unstuck from the bridge.
That's all the damage down there.
So, I mean, we're chasing that through, that whatever claim is gonna eventually be set up or something already set up, but it was around $9,000 damage just on the pavement side.
Well, that could be expensive to read the bridge.
Well, so it's a steel bridge, but what they do in order to protect the steel from corrosion is they encapsulate it in concrete on the underpass. The problem is you can't really pin the concrete into anything. It's also a railroad bridge, so you get quite a bit of vibration. Every, what would you say, 5 to 10 years, starts to shake loose and we have fallen concrete. That's likely what they hit, is that encapsulation layer.
Don't anticipate, as the trains go, the country will probably start.
So, I mean, they would likely have to do that type of repair, is go in there, scrape off the concrete and re-encapsulate it again, if I could guess. I don't think there's
Were
any.
they notified too, or?
Yeah, they were there on the same day.
I noticed the marks in the roadway, he must have got quite a ways under that bridge. Didn't even try to slow down.
So that was more just FYI for reference. When they do get 9 opened up, they'll rerun our 100 north out. We'll see what they do as far as the damage claim. We're looking at some major renovations there regardless. We'll get into the highway agenda. We have the storm damage.
Do you have anticipation when that's going to be opened down here?
Should be relatively soon.
I think it's going to be open in the next couple of weeks, but I haven't gotten that.
We can probably reach out to the vet. I think that was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks, which, I mean, we're getting pretty close.
Well, I see, you've got the bridge mark out here, farm before, or after August 4th. 150.
That's actually gonna be pushed back a week, so they're cool, they'll isn't quite set there. I haven't issued notice for CDI, I was planning to do that Friday, but there will be an extra week overlap.
Okay, because there's still some traffic coming down there from 9 closure, so.
Yeah.
I would have one open before.
That would be nice.
I saw somebody, there was a truck in front of me, actually had the right of way, and some lady coming down the hill never slowed up. And I don't know how they kept from sideswiping down there, but it was just, they should have hit. Oh, that bridge is so narrow, not the bridge, the railroad viaduct is so narrow, you can't do it. She was.
Anyway, switching back to the agenda here, we are continuing to deal with storm damage. The way we have those temporary repairs is they're fairly functional, except for some of the freakish storm events we've been getting recently that are high intensity, low duration. So we basically had so much water piling up above ceiling that it eventually came crashing down the path of least resistance, which puts over the bathroom there. It's a bit of a mess to clean up Monday. Randy was able to get some temporary drainage installed and basically reroute some things, so now if we do get excess, it'll flow into a tarp over a big trash can. So, I mean, that's not ideal,
Elections.
but at least we're not gonna get insulation everywhere
Yeah.
with each one of these events.
Now, this come in just on the last 3 p.m.
Yeah,
over the temporary repairs.
yeah, it basically completely saturated what we already had in the existing drains to where it backed up in a different location. So we have more temporary drainage out there to prevent that in the future. But yeah,
Sorry.
we also have a lot of the debris above head removed out of the way. So I let the insurance company know that we did have additional damage. I don't know if they'll do anything additional about it. A lot of the areas that were wet this round were wet previously, so I don't necessarily think we're incurring a ton of damage, but it would be nice to get the permanent repairs in. So
No
we
more
did,
surprises when you come in.
yeah. But we did at least relay all that information, so they do have that. We also provided an update on the repairs that are happening, so this is the new shop roof that Five Star put on. Looks identical to what we had there previously as far as the finish. Also put correspondence basically going through what we had provided last claim. I asked if everything we had was addressed. There are a couple small items that weren't necessarily addressed or that I wanted clarification on, so. Sent that out, and then I basically gave them an update of where we are in the front office repairs. Which I also sent to you guys. This is very preliminary, but we're starting to work through. This is the damaged wall area right here, so you can see that's kind of where we put our scope of work. Here's the restroom that just flooded. Basically, all of our flood damage is confined into this area, or storm damage. So that's where we're looking at the repairs. Since this wall has to be replaced, all the steel's right on top, that's why I looked at it, basically focusing our improvements in that area. What you're looking at is just expansion of our break room, actual restrooms. This storage area may end up being a conference room instead, just because we only really have one office. We can close the door, which is mine, so HR reasons, just, interviews, hiring, employee discipline, anything we need would be nice to have an actual closed office room. And then setting our cubicles up back here for our field staff, so it'll be a foreman, inspector. Relatively modest, what we're looking to do, but all of it is very functional for what we need. That is what we're looking at. I hope to have some pricing information at our next meeting. But working with Structure Point on some of the preliminary, and then if we get into approvals to move forward, we'll look at some type of design contract. Wyden also offered pre-con services to provide a ballpark estimate. And then, if we went design build or something, we'd look at a separate contract. Although I do think we could just go with specifications and use bids out for as small as it is. It's just several different subcontractor packages. Any questions on the storm damage and building repairs? Keep this moving. Community crossings update. Closeout letters for both 2024 projects now, so we're fully closed out for our 2024 year. Gave us the auditor too, which is that for all the grant paperwork, State Board of Accounts. As far as 2025, NDOT provided an update in their July newsletter, basically spelling out community crossings had been cut to $100 million per year in funding. Some of the changes that NDOT is making, the cap is gonna go from the 1.5 that they recently upgraded to back down to the million. The match is gonna be cut from 25% to 20%, which, less money they have to put in, so that's nice. Instead of putting in $333,000 to match $1 million, we'll now only have to put in $200,000. So we'll adjust accordingly. Other items, will actually go back to the state fiscal year, which means our 2026 CCMG would have been in January and July. We're actually gonna do it in October. We've already got a full $1.5 million on the 25. The first part of the year, they won't have a second call, so glad we got that money when we did. Technically, we could get another $1 million in the same fiscal year for us, even though the program's being cut, we could end up with $2.5 million for this year, if we're lucky. So my plan is, for the October 1st is to go up to the full $1 million again. We'll probably break that up into a paving package and also a micro surface package. The micro surface, more or less, we would use in most of the subdivision type areas where you can't chip seal, it's difficult to pave. So we'll be looking at that, but again, if the opportunities are there, I don't see any reason why not go after the full funding. Any questions on community crossing? I'll begin drafting project applications. I'd like to support you guys probably sometime in your September meetings. Next up is Bridge 67. As you know, we turned in our ADA Title VI overhaul plans for review. Pending their approval, we were gonna get an award letter from MnDOT. I haven't heard anything back from our ADA Title VI. I just sent an email out asking for an update, but we did get our award letter, so I assume it's all working. Congratulations, your community's been awarded $2,994,400 in federal highway funds for the project listed below, which is Bridge 67, County Road 450 West, over the Elephant River. So that is good news. We also got correspondence that we could start the RFP and early coordination processes simultaneously. So we did get our RFP posted last week, and responses will be due. I actually had to run it 30 days, so they'll be due on your second commissioner meeting next month. It should be due by noon, so we'll get them distributed that same day. So it should go.
Congrats, by the way.
Yeah. Definitely an odd year for the federal aid on timing, but you'll see they did revise the letter to January 1st date, so September 1st it would have been near impossible. But we'll still try to stay early and push this thing along as quickly as we can. Bridge inspection, no update there. Bridge 136, I have an LPA voucher for construction engineering 2016 and total amount of $800.15.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 22306-16 for $803.15.
Okay, we have motion and second regarding the voucher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Also have an LPA voucher for Bridge 44 or CE claim 20, total amount of $5,596.72. Final construction record on Bridge 44 is going to be submitted this Friday. We're also working on all the closes on 136. Should be ready to submit for closeout for final construction records here in about four weeks. And obviously we'll wait on NDOT's review and close out on their end.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 23307-20 for $5,596.72.
I'll second.
Motion second regarding the voucher, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Before I forget here, Jackie said you guys had a question on the claims from Aptura. That is the vendor that provides Manager Plus subscription, which is our shop, full suite shop software that we do, manages the entire equipment fleet that we're using. All the invoicing we're doing with the departments, all of that, so that's our annual subscription cost, doesn't automatically renew if it's part of the claims.
Thank you for that.
Next up, we have Ball Road. Paving went well, it looked lovely for about a full day there. We're working through closeout, shoulder stone, went in last week, and then it'll be the same thing. We'll pretty much have the road open, and then we'll be waiting for grass to grow. I mean, we seeded, not the best time looking at the weather, but I think that's what you get on these projects, they'll be back to seed in the fall again. Hopefully over the winter, no issues, and then have good growth in the spring, and we'll get all the road closed out as well. There is an area where they did put sod in, it's the part of the ditch that did take, you can see there on the front picture, so that's my main concern is sod is very expensive relative to seed. But the areas that were sodded are in good condition.
I feel like the way that it got damaged.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I think we need to
So-
talk about that.
I mean, full disclosure, the road was closed, there are barricades, we had paved on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's fresh asphalt, it was very hot on Thursday, so asphalt was still very warm, especially if you're walking it. Somebody did move the barricades, it looks like the horse and buggy came through, and you can see in the pavement, the entire section, all the way down and all the way back, that you have gashes from just the horseshoes. You know, I don't know if it's the fresh pavement or if they're the reinforced ones, with the tungsten, but 1/4-inch gashes, which, I mean, yeah, at this point, 1/4-inch gashes, there's no real repair method, it's just now you have grooves in the pavement that are gonna hold water, then they'll freeze thaw in the winter, and then, I mean, you're already getting deep into the maintenance cycle at that point, so. I don't know what all can be done, like I said, we've dealt with horseshoe damage a long time, but the new issue is the reinforcement that's on it is, it's the same, material we use on our belly blades, you know, to scrape in the winter, so it's very, very durable, hard stuff that is not good on the pavement.
On the barriers, I mean, it's obvious the road's closed, you're not supposed to be going and moving them and taking the buggies down the road, but do you put something else additional on the barrier that says, you know, stop, if you move this, you'll be prosecuted, or something that resonates?
It is infuriating, but it's like a tale as old as time, because you can put up as much signs and barricades, people walk through, and
Except you put up a chain, somehow they kind of chain.
well, and the other thing is, you know, if somebody gets hurt, then you're liable. So, you know, and the other thing is like, yeah, this is disappointing that they were on it that early, but
It's flabbergasting.
it's almost, I mean, as soon as you open it up here in a few weeks, you're gonna have the same problems. So unfortunately, a lot of your focus is on fixing it on the backside. Likely, we'll probably look at doing, I mean, it's fresh asphalt, I hate to do this, but we'll probably end up doing some type of chip seal in-house just to try and get ahead of it next year, even though we, you know, just put $800,000 into the road. Probably look at some native chip seal or something just to try to buy us some time. But if there was a way to, I mean, maybe we need to talk to the sheriff's department about, he has good contacts with all the local leaders, you know, and see if there's something we can do, it's like, could you just not do the reinforced shoes, cause I get that it saves them money from not having to reshoe, but now we're having to raise buggy plates for everybody, and, you know, damage is not easy to fix, especially the type of damage it is. It's just, I don't think it's very cost effective for anybody to do it the way we're doing. But, if we could communicate, hey, could you please stop doing this? You know, we won't need as much money to repair it, and you won't be taxed as much, that'd probably be a better system, but, I don't know, it's just, like I said, it's very hard to enforce.
Could you follow?
Track them.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Track
could you follow that new pavement where those tracks are and where they stop at, like the home that they went to?
I mean,
The horse poop too was there.
yeah,
Showed in the picture, so that made it more obvious that it was.
there's a gravel road, it's immediately that tees off the north section of the project, so I doubt you're really gonna track anything past that.
Gotcha. So it wasn't on that road.
Unless you actually see them.
Yeah, unless you
Yeah.
have
It's
the-
like you're going for DNA testing or something.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna go that route.
Okay,
But you know, it's an obvious when it's in the picture that he says that, you know.
okay.
Yeah, the only other concern is, we'll see what NDOT does, but I mean, technically, Brooks didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
They had their closures in, they paved correctly, now they're paving defects before we've signed off, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens. Back to the agenda here, Bridge 134, I did a brief update there in correspondence. Hopefully we have another update before your next meeting, and if there's any action that's needed, I'll make sure that I relay that. Next up, I have a draft, CN contract for Bridge 69 from NDOT. Just a draft for review, I haven't received the doc to sign yet, but once it comes in, pending approval of that, we can move forward.
This is. Yeah, same one I got.
Yeah, it's their standard form as long as the attachment A covers what you anticipated.
And this would be February lighting for next year for Bridge 16.
So you might need a motion for this,
Yes.
to approve that draft contract for DOT?
Yep.
Bridge 69. All right, so I make a motion that we approve the draft contract with the Indiana Department of Transportation regarding Bridge 69.
I'll second.
Gary has motion second, during the draft contract, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next up, did provide an update. This is a follow-up on our old State Road 3 project. You're gonna see a large invoice in the claims, $654,143.32 is our 20% match on the low bid that went to E&B paving. So we did put that in the process, our portion. If you recall, I actually had requested a fairly large additional in our 1176 this year to help cover this claim. I had anticipated it being closer to $1 billion. So majority of that additional is not gonna be used. It'll go back to cash balance. But potentially could be a funding source, for our building project, whatever that ends up being next year. But bids were good, very competitive, well under engineer's estimates, so, and we got a good contractor who just finished working up, on Foreman North with it. They did a great job, so I'm pretty excited about this project and the results on it. Bridge 59, plan to score the LOIs, 8/11. I just got the past performance data back, so I'll put all the scoring forms, I should have that for you guys for the next meeting. Riley Road, an LPA voucher, D claim 19, total amount of $8,550.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 192474 in the amount of $8,550.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion second regarding the voucher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, we have a PE voucher, claim number 8 for Bridge 56, total amount of $13,564.50.
Okay, make a motion to approve LPA voucher invoice number 24212-08, the amount of $13,564.50.
I'll second.
Motion second on the voucher, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
County Road 525 West with public hearing scheduled for your next meeting. On the no trucks ordinance in County Road 1000 East. So we reran this speed study, we still haven't received the petition from the public, if you recall. Kind of did this one on a commissioner's motion originally. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but normally I like to document where the requests are coming from, just so if there's ever any question, there's a paper trail that, you know. A lot of times, you know, these are coming from the public, and we're doing it as a service, not necessarily that we're just going out randomly doing these studies. But regardless, we did do a follow-up study. Hopefully we can get a petition to attach this to a couple of people. I think it's in the works, they just need some prodding. But anyway, we ran the study. This document was developed as a tool to assess current traffic and roadway conditions and evaluate if any speed limit adjustments or traffic controls are required on County Road 1000 East between 1000 North and 1100 North. The speed limit per Indiana code is 55, which was previously unposted, but now 55-mile-per-hour signage has been installed. So the original traffic data was from April, and we reran this as a comparison to see what having posted signage would actually do out there. I guess the biggest thing that I noticed right out of the gates is there's a decent amount of traffic increase in the area. I don't know if that's a summer thing, but you went from 428 northbound to 539, so about a 20% increase, and then in the southbound 340 to 438. So decent increase in traffic.
Any late traffic potentially?
Were they chips in state roads?
That could have an impact too.
Could be, yeah.
Speeds were somewhat similar. We did see the average speed northbound go down 1 mile per 1 mile per hour from 59 to 58. We saw the 85th percentile speed go from 67.5 to 64.8, so a couple miles per hour lower there. Still 90 vehicles in excess of 75 as opposed to 101. And then as far as the southbound, average speed was the same at 57. The 85th percentile speed went up slightly from 64.5 to 64.9. And even more speeders, 69 over 75 instead of 58. So even with the new signage, you did see a little bit of adjustment in that top end, but there's still a lot of excessive speeding in the area. The road characteristics page, roadside development are all the same. This is a rural stretch with limited to no pedestrian activity. There's only been 4 collisions in the last 5 years, but boy, is there a lot of excessive speeding out there. So we could look at an adjustment, maybe 50 or 45 at this point. But I think if we're gonna do that, it should be done in conjunction with some more law enforcement out there. I think that's the only way you're actually gonna get traffic slowed down. I hate to adjust speed limits when there's already excessive speeding. It tells me that it's not really a speed limit issue, it's, you know, the signs are there, people are just not following them. So that's kind of where we're at on this one. I mean, I think 50, I don't think there's any issue changing it to a 50. But I think we do regardless need to calm traffic somehow with law enforcement.
You know, I've said it time and time again, doesn't matter what's posted, they're still going to speed.
We can always draft the ordinance and then it can be changed during public hearing if we have any discussion or anything else comes up at that time.
And you let the sheriff's department know results. I mean, if they had even the times, if you show them that, they know what the different times are that you see the speeding vehicles out there, they could focus on that.
I mean, this is one of probably 5 or 6 hot spots in the county where we normally see a lot of speeding, like 200 north, all the way by the West County line, 1000 east over here, we get a lot of speeding. Old 3, we get a lot of speeding on, so I get where they're coming from. When you don't have the deputies to run traffic, it's hard to really make a dent in all these different areas.
No, I agree with Gary. I mean, if you don't use law enforcement, you know, like baseline, for a while, there was a lot of officers out there, and it kind of slowed down a little bit, I think, you know. I mean, I certainly don't go more than 5 over, you know, 50 miles an hour. I do think State Road 3 slowed down a little bit?
Maybe a little.
I mean, a little bit, it
I mean,
doesn't
you're seeing
seem
the
like
50 mile an hour signs, so.
these people, I mean, they just drive fast. Yeah, it's just amazing everywhere, you know.
I was going north on 1000 East last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday heading north to Bighorn Lake. Some guy in a truck, blue truck, come up over the hill. He looked airborne, he was going so fast, freaked me out. And it's right there where 1125, or right there, you know, you turn on that dirt road that Coker's used to live, John Coker used to live on. I'm like, oh my word.
I think they use it so they avoid Kendallville and they
Yeah.
do more patrol on State
It's going
Road
too fast
3
to get a
because you
plate.
can go on 1000.
Well, with that, we can at least draft an ordinance so that's at your next meeting, figure out what we wanna do on that part
Do
of
you
it.
want to make a call with those folks to add them along on that petition?
Yeah, you can let them know that it would be nice to have a petition before we move forward with an ordinance, but that we, will draft one and then also, have some more discussion with the sheriff, see if there's anything else we can do to help them out.
I know there's a couple people who told me that the sheriff's department could park in their driveway. if they- To try to get someone.
I mean, sometimes that is very helpful because, I mean, sometimes it's hard to run traffic. You got a hilly area that's narrow, I mean, having a driveway like that would be helpful. Alright, you can go to your next meeting then. Any other questions for highway business?
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, good question.
We do have one thing here for the courthouse.
Richard, should we get your autograph now that you've been in the newspaper a couple of times?
Yeah.
Between you and Gary, I just thought.
Just trying to keep up with your meeting.
We do have owner change order,
Alright, thanks.
4 project savings, there are a couple line items, this is mostly accounting work, but we had some savings on the insurance and then also snow removal that wasn't needed, ended up being $9,664.59. Everything else we had been doing had been just within the GMP contract. This would actually lower the GMP contract by that threshold, and then when we go to pay out retainage, it would be processed as a credit instead of them just returning cash to us. So that's what I advise them to do, is just credit it to the GMP contract, and they don't need to have any cost savings come back. And then when retainage is paid, the project will be closed out. We have prime contract change order 25, which would be owner change order 3 for project savings, being a credit of $9,664.99.
So you need a motion to accept this credit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll make a motion that we accept this credit from Wygan, regarding the changes at savings at the courthouse in the amount of $9,664.59.
I'll happily second that.
Okay, we have motion second, change order, all in favor, say aye.
I think it's the first one of those I've done since started this credit from those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to see.
That's a nice one.
It'd be nice if there was more, but, I mean, we stretched the budget. I mean, there's so many little things and big things that we took care of drainage wise. And I know since moving in, it's like anything, when you change one thing, you have to fix 2 things downstream. But I do think building maintenance has stepped up. We have a really strong handle on some of those issues, some of the pipe runs had some condensate, this and that, but it's hard to imagine the courthouse before, you're so used to what you're seeing now, but it's just so many little issues and, little drainage issues, and you got used to just not taking that route because it was always ponding or frozen, and all those issues are gone. So I do think, in the grand scheme of things, we did spend a lot of money efficiently to fix a ton of stuff, and it is nice to have a little bit of savings at the end.
Is everything pretty much done? Is there still a few things that,
Everything's done with Wygan.
okay,
The FFE, it's like a little lock they're waiting to get, some other just very small custom stuff that they'll be back just to take care of a couple pieces, but it's nothing that's buildable. And then lastly, I had correspondence from Denise Lemon. It's in regards to a historic church marker that they would have placed, which would technically be on annex property. I guess originally where the church was is where we are now located. So they just want to put up a historic marker. So I wanted to bring those correspondence to you. I mean, if it was a highway project and this was a marker that was going on the road, we would go through a right-of-way permit process, but with it being on annex property, I'm not sure, other than just a motion, if there's anything
just
else
giving
that's
their
needed.
approval? Do you know exactly where they're putting it?
We had done that walkthrough with them.
Yeah, I went back through and we talked about putting it over here on the southwest corner. She wants to stick it on the southeast corner back.
just off the right of way,
off the right of way, yeah.
just in, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, all you have to pull is 811 tickets, you know, there's something there now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's no case bottom, I'm fine with it back in there.
Do you have the size of it or anything?
She had a picture of it, but I mean, it looks,
Okay. It's not massive, but it would keep it from looking.
No, I think
Right around the corner.
originally some of the pricing they got really
Sticker shock.
constricted the size, so I don't
Yeah.
think we need.
And as long as it doesn't keep anybody from seeing when they're at that stop sign.
no, it'll be back,
Okay.
You gonna be there when Tony Lake comes?
but
She wants to know if someone's gonna be
my,
there.
you know, I mean, I can be there, no problem, I know when, so, but no, the sidewalk is, corner building set back here with 5, 6, 7 feet, something like that, it's gonna be
So it's gonna
something.
be a ground sign, like when you're saying Tony Lay, is it gonna be
Well,
some
he's
kind
putting
of?
a
He's putting a
concrete-
footer,
Oh,
then to
it's
set
for
it
the
on.
footer,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
it's gonna sit back in the
Okay.
landscaping, but it'll be, you know, a couple feet tall, maybe.
Okay, I wonder if it was gonna be like a gravesite stone, okay.
One of
Cause
the footer.
I was thinking sign up in the air, that's why I was wondering
No,
about
no,
my
no.
site, okay,
Not gonna be up there very much.
okay.
She showed me a picture of one, it wasn't that big. Like,
So here's, you guys got this, Tony?
I got it right here.
She had all those questions,
Right.
I just wouldn't want Tony to put it in the wrong place.
Right. Yeah, that would be fun. Do I motion?
I would prefer there's something at least in there.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we give approval for the historical landmark, noting that the church was historically here at this location and for that signage to be on the southeast corner of the annex.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is everything I have for today, unless there's any other questions. Alright, thank you.
Okay, we got 10 o'clock, so bar and safe housing review. I guess we can do is take a brief recess until 10 o'clock.